We are going now to a little bit, I don't want to say more concrete examples, but on projects that are happening in the region. This is, of course, a very small example. There are much more projects, and one of the objectives of this roundtable is also to get the countries to see what can be considered as an SCP project, so that in the next reporting period, what S.3 presented, that the region can present all the projects that are being done. Because the SCP reporting and the communication on it at large is still quite limited. And also on all the SDGs, the SDG 12 is one of them who has the least projects, because a lot of people don't really realize what can be put in. So we will present this project that is called SwitchMed. The SwitchMed, the first thing, the name. Switch is not an abbreviation for sustainable whatever, it's for making the switch, making the change. Because when we had discussions about sustainable consumption and production, I always try to use a very simple definition, saying that we know the situation of the planet now, the resources, the water issues, everything is due because the way we produce and consume. We do it in a way that is not sustainable. We have some countries that consume if they have up to seven planets available. So it's not sustainable. So we need to switch to more sustainable consumption and production, which will help create a new economy, a green economy. So all this sustainable development, it fits together very well. The SwitchMed program covers, it's funded by the European Union, it's funded through their geographical funding source, which is for the southern Mediterranean countries. It covers 7 of the countries that are here in the region, in this meeting, which is very important because what we mentioned already in the last roundtable, there's an opportunity for the countries that are here as a group to become the first group of countries, geographical group, to have all SDG 12 Indicator 1, develop national action plans and implement them to achieve it. 7 countries have done this with SwitchMed. Other countries have done it also. And I think for our regional offices, for S.3, it could be an opportunity to engage all countries, and also for the countries, the most success I think that we can expect, or one of the big successes of this meeting, is when tomorrow some of the countries would say, we want to go on this too, we want to develop with the partners also national action plans, start implementing them. And of course, the wealth of projects like SwitchMed is also the capacity that is available in-house and in this room. Not only have we Zaglul and Maysoon, 2 of the SwitchMed focal points here, but the countries are also available and interested to share these experiences. So why not imagine that if a country, I take Oman, if Oman wants to develop something similar, see which of the countries could be interested in cooperation, in transfer of experiences. The SwitchMed project, funded by the EU, implemented in the 7 countries. It's a multi-partnership project. We have UN Environment, the European Union, but also UNIDO, which is working on a component that is more concentrating on MedTest. Our colleague from Jordan will talk about this, also mention it tomorrow. We also have the UNEP MAP, the Mediterranean Action Program, based in Athens, who also are involved, and they have a technical center which is in Barcelona on SCP. They are more involved in green entrepreneurship and also civil society, what was mentioned by Imad this morning, more the youth component. The focus is on creating green business opportunities, reducing the environmental footprints of consumption and production, support to private sector, but also, and that's what we are concentrating on here, it's also because that's the part coordinated by UN Environment, is to create enabling policy environments. We all know, to go back to the plastic bottles, if we all decide now to not use plastic bottles or plastic bags anymore, it's very good, but the impact is very limited. If you have a policy framework that decides to reduce it, the impact can be much more faster and much more efficient. SwitchMed 1, during the first phase, we developed with the countries, and when I say we, I always include the UN Environment Programme, but also the countries, because whatever I'm presenting here, these are national initiatives, these are national action plans. It's not a publication that was done by UNEP and given to the countries or said, we did it here, this is what we know better than you, what is the situation in Jordan. It was done by the countries, it was owned by the countries, and in the presentations from the countries, they will also give more details on this. So we gave support to develop the sustainable consumption and production national action plans. I'm not going into the details. If you want to learn more how this was done, it's a process of roughly 12 to 15 months, and you have a nationally developed, nationally owned strategy, which was often launched by ministers. We had in Palestine the Prime Minister who launched it, so it's really a national document. In the second phase, we supported Egypt, Jordan, and Palestine to implement the action plan, because all the ministers we met, they were all saying it's very good to do another strategy, but what else? We want action, we want real results. So the projects that we were able to support, thanks to the funding of the EU, was public procurement and plastic bag waste management in Egypt, waste management in the tourism sector in Jordan, and the National Waste Management Training Program. And in Palestine, we worked on ecotourism and agriculture with ICA, but of course also with the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Agriculture. All initiatives that will be presented are based on the National Action Plan, because you all know that quite often very good and nice people come to the countries and say, we know what you need to work on tourism, yeah, but we have other priorities, yeah, but our mandate is tourism, so we want you to work on tourism. No, all of this, you first do a policy framework with national priorities, and then you choose a priority that is in there, which is of course also good for us, because for UN Environment, from our side, if afterwards the project is not followed up, well, the countries cannot come and say, yeah, but you were the one who decided. No, it's your priority, and that's why also we get the ownership and we get the results, which is for me the most important, national ownership and national leadership. We have seen already these are the different SCP assessments or action plans that were developed. Some of them were translated in English, some in Arabic, some in French. We have some bookmarks that I will distribute afterwards, where you have the link to all of these documents. Now, for the demonstration activities, I put them here on the presentation that will be shared with you. I'm not going into the details because that's what the countries will present. If if you want to use some of the slides, you can do it. Reducing plastic bag consumption in Egypt, sustainable public procurement, the waste projects in Jordan, sustainable agriculture and ecotourism in Palestine. And then I will finish by just giving you a few indications about SwitchMed 2. We are going to start a next phase, which is again funded by the EU. It runs over the next 4 years. And our role will be not to develop new action plans because they have been developed, they are still valid, but continue working on the implementation and monitor the implementation. because on the different reportings on the SDGs, there's also the 10-year framework program, where some of you are the focal points. There's an annual report, and the reporting on the results that were achieved does not give a good image of the countries, and I'm not talking about the countries here, but in general. There's much more done than that is shown in the reporting, and I think that's in every reporting that is coordinated. There's much more results, so it looks like there's not a lot that has been done on a SDG 12 at global level, but on the other hand, there's a lot, but it has not been reported or showed. So that's what we want to support in these countries, and do new demonstration projects. For some of the countries in the room, for example, Mauritania, there might be a possibility. We will check with the EU, and I will try to get information today or tomorrow, where the EU is willing to export in a way the SwitchMed experience. So we will not be able to fund major activities in these countries, not yet, but there might be opportunities coming. But we might have opportunities to allow you to meet other SwitchMed experiences and to share some experiences, so that then we can go together to the EU and say, based on this, our countries would like to join. It was mentioned, was it by Tarek, the Switch Arab, a possible project like this too. 15 minutes, that's the, if you are coordinator of a session, you can also, and you are the first speaker, so you have this freedom. This is a slide that is in, which shows all the linkages with the different initiatives of UN Environment or other partners that we had done on SwitchMed. We have worked on circular economy. We have worked with similar projects in Switch Asia and in Africa. We have worked on public procurement, on ecotourism with the International Resource Panel. So it's really a project that brings everything and everyone together. And this is only from the UNEP side. UNIDO and CPRAC has, of course, done other things too.